Yo, what's going on, everyone? We are here again with the UnMasked AfterShow. Sorry, I wasn't here Friday. Had to take a break and go see the Sonic movie. Got to relax. We'll say that. Or binging on Netflix all weekend. I hope everyone had a good weekend and enjoy the UnMasked show. I feel like that episode tickled my fancy a little bit more than some other ones. I was really into it. Sorry I wasn't in the comments section. I was listening to what Joe was saying. He is very knowledgeable, and I love learning about amplifiers and the nitty-gritty with that kind of stuff. But everyone is in here. That is awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in. Yes, the Unicorn Show, because I asked Joe, I was like, what class amplifier was the Warhorse? When he was talking about A and then B and AB, and I was like, that B awfully sounds a lot like the Warhorse, but I know it's entirely different because of the one rail for the coil 1 and the other rail for coil 2. So I figured it was a great question, and you know what? It is the class of just unicorns. It is by itself for sure. Got a lot of people in here tonight. We are live, and yes, we have music in the background this time. I noticed it. I have music playing all the time in my headphones, no matter if I'm recording or if I'm streaming. And when I go on someone else's stream, Rob's, I have the music going, but I turn it down for you guys, so I'm not pumping my music on their stream. And I forgot to turn that back up, so I didn't know. You guys got to tell me, man. If there's no music, let me know. Thank you for everyone tuning in. Sonic 2 was really good, man. I would say it was an excellent film if you are a person that likes Sonic and played the video games and you know the story. It's great, but you got to look at it as a kid's movie, and it's a movie about a video game. So other than that, it's an awesome movie. There was no plugs for, what was it? Not Panera Bread, the other one, Olive Garden. There was no Olive Garden plugs this time. Let's see, there was a couple. Yeah, Larry. Larry, I like to give people a little break in between podcasts, just so you can drop a deuce if you need to, or, use the facilities, grab another beverage, and kick back and then watch my show. Let's see, I got a lot of comments. Dave in the house. I know Bobby B, he's always here first, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. I'm sorry I wasn't here Friday, but we will be doing a show Friday too. But I wanted to talk about the UnMasked show with the class amps. If you guys had any additional information or questions on that, feel free to comment down below. I'm not a huge guru on it. That's why I was listening, because I want to learn. But I know the basics of it and stuff like that. Mike Davis from Facebook. Hello, sir. Thank you for tuning in, man. Appreciate you. The post show is real. It is real. Live and direct. Let's see. Yo, yo, yo from Kicker Club. It sounds like Robert Hi-Fi Vega. It might be. I don't know. Thanks for tuning in, man. Todd! Another Ultimate Kicker fan. Hello, Bobby25, Blake, Dylan, Larry, and Andy. Thanks for tuning in, Todd. I'm guessing you're at work tonight. Let's see here. Larry, I like your comment. Yeah, we don't talk about Bruno here, but yeah, absolutely. It definitely would have went over 90 minutes-ish. John, did you see the wink? I saw the wink. This episode basically announced new amps coming, so it's out there now. Well, you would think, man, bigger subs, they're going to need bigger amps, and which is how the economy is in today's standards. You kind of have to shift directions, but you still need to make something. And you need something to be readily available to be able to power that Solo X. So you would think. The Average Guy, 1983, thank you for tuning in, man. This was an awesome event that revealed that there will be a successor to the KXA 2400.1. which is also awesome to hear. Only bad part is it won't be revealed until 2023. Good time to save up some cash. I don't know where you heard the year from. I don't want to relay too much information neither, but you will hear first directly on the UnMasked show of if there is an amp coming out and when. And hopefully that L7X comes out, man. That'd be great. I'll take 2, please. Cornut, I need to watch the UnMasked show. I had to work and missed most of it. I know you like to, come in late there, Cornut. It's okay, man. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, it's definitely a good show that you can rewatch, man. It was very informational, take notes and study, man. It's good stuff. William, thanks for tuning in, man. Living Loud with Andy, Kicker Unmasked, after show for the win. Great videos. Always thank you for all you do. William, thank you for all your support. I see you on Facebook, here, YouTube, man. Love you, man. Thank you so much. As soon as I say Cornet, he comes out with this early super chat. An early super chat. And he's poking the bear, Baba. He's poking him. He said, hey, Baba. Thank you for that super chat early. Early there, Cornet. That was very early. Appreciate you, man. Let's see. Okay, cool. Facebook user from Kicker Club with a smiley face. Thank you for tuning in, man. Or girl. Could be both. Let's see. Baba says, that is just unacceptable. I did not get a notification. YouTube shall hear from my lawyers. You know what's funny? And I think it's kind of a double-edged sword, like how I do these after shows, after the Unmasked show. It doesn't hurt me too bad on Friday, because I'm not streaming on the Rolling Thunder on my channel. But I am streaming the Unmasked show on my channel. And I heard from some pretty big YouTubers that sometimes it's hard to get more than one notification a day for like an upload. Now, if it's a live video and a live video, I feel like the notification may be slipped through the cracks, so that might be why. That's my guess. El Fuego, thank you for tuning in, man. Hope you're doing good. Hope the move-in's getting along there. Let's see. KC, is there glitter in here for the unicorns? Absolutely, man. I always wanted a warhorse. I don't know if I'll ever get one. Maybe when I'm like 45 and then it's finally on the wall and I'll never use it. But yeah, they are awesome amplifiers. Sonic 1, when you're here, you're family. Family. I know, and that was the kind of, I don't want to sidejack too much, but yeah, the Sonic movie was, it tried to push a message that didn't need to be pushed, and pushed a few other things too, for obviously they got to get paid. And then the one scene at the beach, it's like it could have been shrunk down to about 5 minutes instead of 20 minutes. Other than that, A+ movie. And that's just me skimming the surface, man. I'm a real movie critic in a way, with how movies are produced, written, executed, and I don't know. I think it'd be cool to do, but I already have enough on my plate here. I knew it. It's me, your boy. High Five Vega up in the house. Thanks for tuning in, man. Let's see. Josh Holden. What is the amp? Bigger than a KXA 2400.1. You guys trying to get something out of me, huh? I can't say nothing. NDAs are real, man. But, you know, just stay tuned. Like Joe said, and they all say, just stay tuned. You guys are not going to be disappointed. 25, you're telling me. But you know what? I hate when someone leaves me on red. They don't respond. It's the worst feeling in the world. Blake, thanks for tuning in. Time to drink about 3 bottles of honey to soothe my throat. Choir high key. Oh, singing those high notes, man. That's awesome. I heard you wanted to relax and watch the show. Thank you for tuning in, man. I don't know. Maybe more, maybe less. I don't know. That would be about what you would need for a pair of them, you know? That would sound about right. Ashy says, I'm such a KX fan. I love the KX amplifiers. It was honestly, I know it's going to sound crazy, but it was my first kicker amplifier, the KXA 2400, man. And it's still running this day, and I have beat the living poop out of it, and it still runs great. And they are awesome amplifiers. Yeah, they're more expensive than the normal one for the power that you're paying for. But if you want something that is going to last and you can abuse it and get away with a little bit of stuff, it's the amp for you, man. But I mean, I feel like any kicker amp's going to be like that. And we got 30 people, at least on my end here, from the 3 places that I'm streaming. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll probably just keep it short tonight, maybe like 30 minutes. I know, 30 minutes. That sounds short, and do I ever stick to that? We'll see. But just so we have some more content to talk about on Friday. Got earplugs. Thank you for tuning in. What is up, fellas from Cincinnati? Something happened to one of my CXA 1800.1s. Poopy bang. What kind of electrical you got? I thought you had one of those on, or you had two of those, two 1800s on 215s. So if one went, I would just check, make sure the subwoofer's okay on the speaker, on the amplifier that went, because sometimes that can happen. But I've had some issues with my 1800.1 and literally just had to disconnect it for like a few minutes, a while, and reconnect it, and then it came right back out of Protect, and it was running like it never had a problem in the beginning. So I would suggest doing that before you go to Kicker Tech Support, because that's what I kind of did, you know? I'm like, hey, these amps usually don't do this. What's going on here? Here was kind of my fault too. It was just a connection that came undone on the, what was it, the for the inline converter, because it's a stock head unit in that car. David, thank you for the $2 super chat. Still didn't get a PayPal address. I got you, man. I got you. I'll send you that. You know, I was doing more research into it. I do get paid a little bit more than 60% or whatever it is. It's about 77% of what you guys contribute. But then you got to think about tax season too, man. You get hit 25%, so it about equals out either way. Thank you so much, David. Love you and appreciate you, man. Look at Bubba coming in right behind there with the super sticker. I wish I could see the super stickers. I have to go on YouTube to see the super sticker. But appreciate you, Bubba. Thank you so much. And yeah, I got your message on Patreon. I have to reply back to you. And Stu, I got a lot of people I got to get back to. I've been kind of on it recently, but you know how life is. But absolutely, man. Thank you again for tuning in, dude. Appreciate you. Vega says, ha, I got Andy calling you Casey. I know, there's Casey, Cassie. My neighbors down the street, there's two of them that live in the same place. Their both name is Casey and Cassie. And it's like so hard, so easy to mess it up. So I always do that. And it's like, just because I know them, it's like, well, I messed it up. Sorry. You know what? It's understandable. It's okay. Josh Holden, you have a CXA 1800.1 or the CXA... Okay, I have the 43 version, so it's the CX 1800.1. I think it's the 2 ohm 43 version, not the 46 1 ohm version. But I have it wired at 1 ohm a lot of times with box rise and how I play, the enclosure that I have. I never see below 2 anyway. But right now, it's just, I have it on a L515 at 2 ohms, you know, safe. You know, it works. It works. Very efficient amplifiers, man. Like, if you want something that does not require a lot of power, you may not really need to upgrade your electrical for how much power you're doing. That is the type of amplifier that you want to go with. We got a lot of comments, guys. You guys are awesome. Hold on. Got some super chats. I don't want to lose them. So easy to get lost on these here. Okay, cool. Let me just jump up here real fast. Todd, thank you for your super chat, man. Appreciate you, man, so much. This is my dude. If I wanted to amplify my mids and highs and keep my factory head unit, how would that work if you are using the key lock for your sub and tied in the mids? That's a problem where, honestly, I would go with the key 200.4 so you could amplify your mids and DSP your system with your stock head unit. That's what I would do. Yeah, because you're using the key lock, which is just pretty much the converter to get the signal and to relay the signal. Now, you could, let me think. That would be tough. Yeah, because you would have to tap into, after your radio, ooh, yeah, you'd have to tap into your radio as you normally would, but then you'd have to run additional wires, like you should anyway, additional wires from not the key lock, but the amplifier that you have connected to the key lock for your 4-channel to go to your doors to power your doors. So you're still getting the signal from your source, your head unit, that's in between, and then going to the speakers. I mean, I think that's normally how it is anyway. I'd have to think on that. But yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, the Key 200.4 would be probably a little bit easier option. And honestly, if you're just trying to amplify your door speakers, not add a ton of speakers, the 200.4 is going to be more than enough power than you ever need for your door speakers. And again, thank you, man, for your super chat. Love you, buddy. Dave with a super sticker. Thank you, man. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate you. Really do. Really, really do. I want to get to these super chats. DIY guy in the house, thank you for tuning in, man. I was setting up for our live stream tonight and saw Andy's live, so I shut it down. Listen, you can stream at the same time just like MBE does, man. It's okay. It's okay. I'll rewatch it after. Bubba with the $20 super chat. Thank you, man. Need 18 more people to hit that like button. Keep doing your thing, Andy. Thank you, man. You don't know how much that means. Today was a good day, but a bad day. But I got some stuff done, and hear that. It means a lot, man. And thank you so much, dude. Thank you. All right, I think I'm caught up on the super chats. Let me see if there's any crazy comments, questions that I missed when I was skimming over everything here. There needs to be a Cookie Monster movie. Yeah, they need to do that. Nom 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 nom. High Five Vegas says, hear Andy's movie thoughts this Thursday. Yes, the side jag with the turning red we're going to do, which is kind of cool. I'm kind of looking forward to that side jag just as much as the reverse polarity that I will also be on, you know it, Robert High Five Vegas channel Thursday. Thanks again for having me on, man. Appreciate that. It's going to be cool. Hanging out with you and Dean. Yeah, Ashley, movies have gotten a little unrealistic. The one thing that drove me nuts, and I know it's a kid's movie, again, but how supersonic, like not supersonic, but how Sonic can go super fast where time slows down, like the Flash from like the, what is it? The other movie where, you know, like everyone else is like standstill. And then Sonic is like running around doing all this kind of stuff. He did it in the first movie and the second movie. But it's like, there's some times when it's like, man, he could get out of anything. And why doesn't he do that? Okay, it's a movie. I get it. But that's the problem. You made Sonic too fast. Running from whatever state to the other side of the ocean, I get that. That's really, 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 really way too fast. And it's Sonic, it's a character, it's a cartoon, it's a video game, I get it. But it kind of ruined it for me because I'm like, really? How did you get Sonic? How do you capture Sonic? There's no way. There's no way. He's Sonic. Come on, man. He's the blue Flash, the blue Blur. Guys got me side jagging here. While most of their amps are full bridge, other than their some 4 channels of their CX series and stuff like that. Josh says, I just want a new kicker full bridge amp around 3K. Even the ZK series were full bridge, I believe so, like the 2500s and stuff. That's why for a long time, you know, you look at their amps and are like, why is it only 2 ohm stable? That's half the reason. DL Carburetor, tuned in and listening. Thank you for tuning in, man. Appreciate you. New guy watching me. And you are here and watching the UnMasked show, which is just awesome. Mullen says he was falling asleep during the UnMasked show. Are you kidding me, man? I'm like sitting there on the edge of my couch, like listening to Joe. I mean, it was techie, but that was my field of car audio. You know, door panels, not my thing. Amplifiers and how they work, that's my thing. El Fuego, a little birdie told me that the Solo X 10K Warhorse is coming soon. I hope that ain't no Tweety Bird. Let's see here. Vegas says, RGA says you have at least 4 hours in you. I absolutely do, but you know what? Those do drive you nuts. You know, it's like the next time you go live, you're like, whew, we're gonna do another 4-hour show? I mean, we can, but it's a lot easier when you have someone to talk to. When you're doing your own show, you're the only one talking, you know? And so it's harder. It definitely is. I really like the format that you have though, Vega, with the car audio community helpline, the car audio helpline. I love that, man. That's so cool. Let's see here. Dub Team has a question. What happened with your boxes this weekend, moving them around? Absolutely. I got one I'm going to use for a future video, and the other one is just Cookie Monster 2.0, the big one you guys all know. And I had to transport that to my house and literally put it in the garage so I can finish the final touches on it. Did a lot of work on that, and today I dug into my car, tore everything out. Literally all I got is some power wires, and I'm going to clean everything and rerun it and just make it super clean. And I'm actually going to make my floor a lot stronger this time around. I haven't messed with the floor since we originally built it back in 2019, and both of us didn't really know what we were getting into with this, of like the authority of how much motor force that sub has. And I didn't intend on playing 16 hertz full tilt boogie floating hair, not the way I did with what I had. So there was a lot of movement going on, and the box, the floor, the vehicle, it's beating itself up. So I just need to make things a little bit stronger, and it's not going to be that much hard, but it's time consuming and cleaning things that just haven't been cleaned. When do you clean underneath your seats? Never. So that needed cleaned and just a lot of stuff, man. You guys will like that video with the other box, so you'll get a kick out of it yet. I got a few things I got to tweak with it, but I don't want to give it away. 25's finally here. Dynamic duo in effect. Thanks for tuning in, man. All right, let's see. Okay. Again, if you guys got any questions about the Unmasked show tonight, drop them down below. Jason Stokes, thanks for tuning in. Oh wow, you live, Andy? How's it going? Doing good, man. I was actually looking forward to this live. You know, when you don't go live when you're supposed to, it's like you feel like that empty spot in your chest, you know, you're like, ugh. But it's okay. I need to relax and spend some time with the family, and that's what I did. So we are here again, and it's great. Thank you, Todd. Thank you. Deviant, we need to find Third Era. You guys, I know you guys can do that detective work. You gotta get on it. Larry H, do you think they will make a larger key sub amp? I know that they brought it up, and I think size is the problem. The point of the key is for integration, to fit underneath your seats, to fit in small locations, and to get a larger amplifier for more power. You know, you're kind of running into where that amplifier fits its niche of what it can do because of the size. So I'm sure with how technology advances, because if that was a, you know, different class amplifier, a half bridge or whatever, it's going to be bigger. And it needs that footprint. So we are in that era where, you know, you can have a 4-channel, you know, full bridge class D amplifier that's this big and does 400 watts. So, I mean, there is that. So maybe in the future, but I wouldn't say too soon, if anything. With that kind of stuff, I don't know anything about if they're working on anything like that. John K has a good question. Thanks for bringing this up, man. That's why I do this. Andy, what's up with your door speaker issue that you figured out? Yeah, I was driving it. Before I took it out, you know, I was still playing it, and I knew what it was, but it sounded good enough for me. And I noticed that it wasn't quite as loud, and I'm like, So I turned the bass down, and then I was just playing music, and I'm like, it sounds louder, way louder over here. And then I, you know, mess with the balance and put one speaker on each, and then one didn't work. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's probably why. And so I went to the amplifier since it was accessible, and I checked it out, and everything seemed like it was connected. So then next step is to test the terminals of the speakers, not the amplifier, the speakers, check for impedance. Nothing. I'm like, oh no, speaker's done. I thought it might have been the amplifier because the left side was kind of acting up, but I think that is the amp itself. I still need to get into the left door, but it should be okay. I think it's the amp. I got a new amp that's going in there anyway, so that's why I was like really like, oh, I hope it's just the amp going. It's not the speaker blown. So anyway, tested the impedance, no connection. I'm like, man, you got to be kidding me. So I took the door off, took the speaker out, tested the speaker, and it showed impedance, and I'm like, or resistance, whatever. I'm like, okay, so there's a problem between my speaker wire. Crap, that means I really got to take this car apart no matter what decision I decide to do to rerun a new speaker wire. Somewhere it's pinched. So I took the door off, took the speaker out, and I'm checking continuity between the two, and I'm like, there's no continuity between the wire. Okay, so let me see if there's a problem with where the speaker wires go into the speaker that they give you and where you attach it to your speaker wire that you purchased, or my kicker wire that you attach to it to do the run. So I was like, process of elimination. There's only one other connection. So then I took continuity from the main speaker wire that goes through the whole car to the back of the amplifier. Boom, I had continuity. I'm like, okay, so there we go. It is something with the connectors or the heat shrink that I connected it to. Turns out it was the heat shrink connector, still work, cut it together, put it, boom, works, no problem. So it was literally just a connection between that. And that's the thing, man. And I really want to help with the Toys DIY forum that they have with that. I posted it about a week or two ago with my troubleshooting chart, you know, and that's just very basic, but it's like, I love figuring out the problem because it's like, I know it's a lot of work, but it's like, I know what to look for. And it's simple. Once you get it, man, it's like riding a bicycle, man. It's just like, okay, it's not this, it's got to be this. So it was fun, but at the same time, hey, I don't have to buy a new speaker, and well, I got a new amp going in there anyway, but it wasn't the amp's problem. Here it was just a simple connection issue, and some people will be like, oh, my speaker's blown, I need a new one, and not even test it. And you know how many stereo shops get speakers that still work because people thought they were blown with something stupid like that. That was my mission the past few days here. It was fun. Blake says, definitely would like to get my hands on a Warhorse. It's a fascinating part of tech and history. Absolutely, man. It's just cool how you don't wire it normally. You put on coil 1 and 2 because coil 1 only goes up. Like a speaker's resting, it only goes up. And then coil number 2 goes down. Goes down. It's so cool. It's so cool. I need a drink. Jimmy P, thanks for tuning in, man. Ashy is listening. Thanks for tuning in, man. Jim Carrey is still Dr. Robotnik, aka Eggman. Got lots of people in here tonight, man. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll probably go a little bit longer, and then we'll wrap it up here. Base Hit 30, what's up, buddy? Trying to scroll through. I'm way behind on the comments. I'm just trying to catch up here. WC, thanks for tuning in, man. Do I need to upgrade electrical for Terrarium 3K? 100%, dude. Anything that's going to be pulling over 100 amps of current, you definitely want to upgrade your electrical. That amp's going to pull 200, 300, maybe almost 400 amps of current, depending how you wire it and how you play and all that kind of stuff, man. So having a battery in the back is really going to help a lot. Not particularly your voltage, but it will be able to supply that amp. That is the bare minimum with some zero gauge wire, at least to the battery. I've gotten away with some things in life, and it's just like, as long as you have it going to that battery, it's close to the amp with some zero gauge, you'll be good for a lot more than you would think. But absolutely, you want to upgrade everything, at least zero gauge, and then you can talk alternator if you really want to make your equipment last. But honestly, I've seen people run Tariamp 3Ks on stock alternators because full bridge technology is pretty efficient for what it is, man. And that's another thing about efficiency. I can't wait to get it from Adam. I just bought a DC clamp. I know I was going to make a big thing about it, but I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to tell you guys because you guys are tuned in. You guys are the dedicated ones. I'm going to buy a DC clamp for the SPL Lab software, so real time when I do my amp dynos, you're going to see how efficient it is. And not just the efficiency numbers, but literally power watts. It's going to be all calculated. So it's not going to be just a print on a screen. It's going to be on the TV or on the laptop here. And it's going to be so cool just to have it real time. Boom. And honestly, for the amp dynos and for the guys in the lane too, man, it's like, hey, it's amp dyno your car real fast. You want to see how efficient your amplifier is? Just pretty cool, man. I always kind of wanted one, and with your guys' support, you guys made it happen, man. Base Jansky, thanks for tuning in. Kicker should be first to build an amp that works with EV batteries 400 volt and up. Yeah, I mean, that would be awesome. You gotta look at it as a business aspect, though. I mean, Kicker does do some crazy, you know, things that are different like that. But I think it could be done. I don't know enough about Teslas and electric vehicles and stuff like that to know if you could incorporate it without ruining the stock electrical of the car. I seen a guy on TikTok recently that actually showed a demonstration how to hook up his, you know, car amplifier, amplifier in his car, in his Tesla. And he did a pretty good job on it, and it's just, but that's the thing though, it just has a 12 volt power supply, and how big is that, you know, generator, or not generator, what's the term I'm looking for? Power inverter. How big is a power inverter? And that's all you're pretty much stuck with. So if you would run something with the 400 volt, you wouldn't need the power inverter at all, and then you would have all the power of your batteries at your disposal for your system. Now, if you have a pretty big system, that might really drain on your distance, obviously, as it normally would with a regular one with 12 volt, but probably would be pretty efficient in a way, because the high voltage, you wouldn't need as much current, so it would be maybe safer in some aspects, but yet very scary in others. I think that's why they don't really tackle that, but I don't know enough to say, you know, whatever. But good question, man. Thanks for tuning in. Annie is freaky. He didn't brush Cookie Monster. Yeah, I was vacuuming the car and Cookie Monster today, man. Gotta keep that shag looking good. DL carburetor, or what kicker amp would you suggest instead of the Smart 3K? Well, if you want similar power, similar efficiency, but the price, and it's kicker, man, I would go with the KXA 2400.1 if you can get your hands on it. I would check Crutchfield or Sonic Electronic. They're going to have it, or Amazon. Just make sure it's a trusted third party of kicker, and you'll be good, man. That's what I would go with. Now, the price is a lot more, but it's going to last a lot longer than that. Cassie says, somebody needs to float some Cadbury eggs on Easter. If not, I'll be thoroughly disappointed. I got nothing that'll float nothing that's running right now. I'm sorry, but that would be cool. Someone definitely needs to do that. Hey, Andy from Kicker Club. What is going on? Thank you guys for tuning in. What's up, man? Just chilling, doing the podcast on Unmasked After Show, talking about amplifiers and side jagging a little bit on Sonic, but not too much, right? I'm so far behind in the comments. That empty spot in your chest is where most people are. You know what? If anyone, I got a heart, man. I have too much of a heart. Thank you for tuning in, though, Deviant. I didn't get to give you a shout out. I can't even talk. Ashley said Andy should mount the subs in an enclosure style wall with shelves with his trinkets and such. Some indirect under light shelf lighting would look awesome. I do have lighting underneath, but yeah, I know what you're talking about, like a wall and stuff. That would be pretty cool. My landlord would be very mad. What are these? Listen, I do podcasts and I live stream, and you know, kicker, yeah. Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. I don't think that's not how that conversation's gonna go at all. All right. Dub Team, when is the Kicker Lounge coming out, bro? You saw the interested there. I know, man. I really want the Kicker couch. I want it. I want it. I'm just gonna make my own. I really am. Todd, 100% I am going to Slamology. That's the only reason I'm de-gutting my car right now. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, definitely. That too. But yeah, I will be there. 100%. 100%. Stu! Thanks for tuning in, man. I got all your messages. I will get back to you after the show. I actually got to run down to my buddy JR's. He's got some motorcycle amplifier problems, and I gave him a loaner amp. He's having some issues, so I'm going to go down there and help him after the podcast. And, well, I got to take out my trash first. Remind me at the end of the podcast. I got to take out my trash. It's all every Tuesday. A lot happens on Tuesday. Bobby was here, Bubba. He was here. He was the first person that commented. And I haven't seen him talking, so maybe he's just watching. He's sitting back, just, listening, I want to get him on, but I'm just going to wait till he's ready, man. All right. El Fuego, thank you. Andy and all the fellas in chat got a dip for family time. Thank you for tuning in, El Fuego. Appreciate you, buddy. Let's see. Lots of comments. Larry H., do you think it's worth keeping old school amps that you probably will never use? I have a thing with getting rid of things. I hashtag hoarder in a way with some. I used to sell my stuff, and I wish I never did, man. I really do. But if within reason, if you're going out and buying amps all the time, like Dave, you got to sell a couple once in a while. I have like maybe 22 amps, but I'm doing amp dynos and stuff, and whatever. If it's getting like crazy where like Big D's got like what 300-400 amps or something like that, where do you put them all? But for us, man, absolutely, man, you got to hold on to that history. Jason, Andy Living Loud for the win. Thank you for the shout out, man. Let's see here. Let's see how far I am behind here. Ah, Bobby's back. Wow, I'm really far behind, guys. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. And we're 40 minutes in. I'm just talking too much, but it's okay, man. You guys are all hanging out, having a good time, so that is the point. Okay, let's see here. Good question from James R. Hey Andy, building a box, how many square inches of port area would you use for a Kicker L7 S12 per cubic foot? Couldn't seem to find a number in the manual. You know what, this is, I want to get on this because whenever I first got into car audio with building boxes, a friend told me, and he knew what he was doing, and he said, the rule of thumb is 12 to 16 square inches of port. You see it a lot, but you see that a lot in prefabs. You see it a lot in SPL design vehicles that are pretty peaky and stuff like that. And what I've learned is things work together. There's no per se set rule of thumb. There's a way of looking at it and saying, well, that probably wouldn't work because that's like that. And that is the best way to describe it. So think of it this way. If you got a small box, like small to spec of what the sub requires, you're going to want a bigger port because the box is smaller. Bigger port as into the size of the enclosure. Now, if you go on the other spectrum of things and the box is really, really big, you don't want to put a really big port that's compared to the box, really big, with that really big box. You kind of want it to be smaller. So there is more control and stuff like there's so many variables, but that is literally how I designed Cookie Monster, and I found a loophole with lows and big boxes, small ports, man, it works. Now, pros and cons each. Big box, low tune, because the port's small. So you'll lose some of that, and because the box is bigger, you're gonna lose some things, man. Some punchiness, not gonna lie. And then the same thing with having a small box with a bigger port. it's going to be pretty loud, but it's not going to have as good low-end extension just because the port may be tuned low, but it's big. But it's going to have a harder time because the enclosure is pretty small, just naturally. It's just how it works. Hoffman's iron law. So there's a lot to it with box specs, and a lot of people use computer programs and literally looking at airspeed and how to design the port in a way for it to work best with the power applied and the woofer and all that stuff. But to answer your question, I would stay, if you're running just the 12, I would stay, if you go, what is it, 2.2 is like the perfect enclosure for that, I believe. Now, that would be, I think it's 1.5, well, it can go down to 0.88 sealed. I think it's 1.5 to like around 3 cubes, not even 3 cubes, maybe ported, with port. I'd have to look. But if you go with the 3 cube, I would go with maybe 7 to 8 square inches per cube of the port area. Now, if you go to the smaller side, you're going to have to go bigger, 12, 14. I wouldn't go 16. I wouldn't go too high on it, because the higher you go with the port area, higher your tuning is naturally going to be, and then the port needs to be longer, and then guess what? Your box is smaller, so then you need to make the box bigger. You make the box bigger, and then your tuning goes back down. So it's a fighting battle of what works, man. I love the stuff, but at the same time, it can drive you insane. I'm trying to think. If you hit my Living Loud with Andy Gmail account, shoot me a message. I can try to help you design a box. All right, I know I'm going to be really, really behind on the comments right now, but I felt like that was an interesting topic, and that was one of the first things that I learned with building enclosures, because I built a box with 2 Alpine Type R12s, and I went like 4 cubes and 16 square inches per cube of the port area, and tuned it at 32 hertz, and man, it would hit 33 hertz like none other, and that was it. And that was it. It was very peaky, and it fell off, and then it had no cone control, and it was just, it was very underwhelming. My first box was a flop. Looks like Stu is leaving. Thank you for tuning in, man. I think Andy is behind. I think that was your initial greet. Yeah, I am very behind, but it's okay. I'm catching up. You guys are sonic fast over here. Supersonic. Let's see. Skull Candy headphones. Do they have the bass shakers in them? Stu says, Andy, don't forget the 9-to-1 rule on port area. What is the 9-to-1? That's something new. I just go with my gut. My gut never lies. And there's some applications that give me an idea, and honestly, it's experience. It's more experience than anything, at least for me, with what works with what. Okay, I think I'm almost caught. Oh my god, am I caught? Awesome. Okay, this is a good one. Deviant cone control, we call that a problem. A+. Daquan, thanks for tuning in, man. I'm looking into either getting 2 L712s or 2 L715s. What would hit harder? 2 15s in a minimum recommended box, or 2 12s in a maximum recommended box? Also, L7S and L7? Or maybe L7Qs. So what I would say with that, the 2 15s versus the 2 12s. The 2 15s, even in a smaller enclosure, are just going to put out more power, pending if you're going to put the same amount of power on them, because the 15s handle more, they're going to need more. So you're going to need to add more power. It's just going to be naturally more louder. But with them being in the small sealed or smaller enclosure, the minimum spec, they might not have as much low-end extension. So you're going to lose on that low-end extension just naturally, and you're going to gain because you're playing higher and you got two 15s instead of 12s, and it's just going to be louder. Now, if you have two 12s in the maximum or just a bigger enclosure on around the same power, whatever they can handle, you're going to have less piston area, period. But you're going to be able to play lower in a way. But then you might lose some of that punchy bass that those 15s could hit because they're in a smaller box. That's why it's nice to find a system that and build an enclosure that does everything, a little bit of everything, but it's like a jack of all trades, master of none. What do you want? Do you want that, where it just sounds good overall with a lot of music, still punchy, still gets down? Or do you want something that is just a monster at whatever it does and skews off pretty fast? And that's where you kind of have to find that happy medium. Absolutely, James. Just hit me up on that email. But yeah, thank you for your question, Jaquan. Appreciate you, man. Take your own candy to the movies. Me and my mom used to. We used to go to the movies all the time, man. All the time. Larry says, tonight I learned that Class D is digital. And Fernando works at Kicker as an engineer at 5-star. Yeah, I think that's a different Fernando. I'm pretty sure, unless I missed that part. But yeah, man, that was a really good episode. I really liked this one tonight. Absolutely did. And just like that, he had his thumbnail. That was grade A. But you know, we got to keep it PG, Deviant. Come on, man. Oh my goodness, congratulations, Bobby, Andy, Kicker the goat. His goat, that's named Kicker, had a baby yesterday, and he's going to name it Solo. Oh, that's cute. I actually like that name. You know, I kind of pushed some, you know, Kicker car audio related names to Kayla, and I was denied on every single one. But we're not going to go there. Okay, this is the 9-to-1, Stu. For every 1 inch of height, you need 9 inch of width, and keep dragging down and avoid unnecessary turbulence. So 18 inch wide needs to be no smaller than 2 inches high. Wow. You know what? See, I believe that there is probably some turbulence, but you want to know something funny? My old Cookie Monster, the 1.0, literally has a port that's 28.5 inches long and it's 1.5 inches tall. And it sounds beautiful, but is it SPL oriented? Is there higher turbulence than probably needs be? Am I limited because of the port velocity with the turbulence of how much power I can apply to it? Probably. It's a very efficient it's a very efficient enclosure. The rise is like ×4, pretty much everywhere except playing way low. So it's very efficient. But I understand what you mean by that with the rectangular slot ports. Honestly, I will never build one again unless I need to fit it in a certain spot. Honestly, square ports or circle ports. Keep it every side the same, less chance of port velocity, more airspeed you can get, like less resistance, like more, I don't even know how to put it, more sound through the port in a way, with less space being needed because there are less angles, less chuffing, because it's not rectangle, it's just one shape. And that's why the circle ones are great, because there's no squared off corners. And that's why a lot of people do octagons and all different kind of shapes. But honestly, you know, you want to keep everything the same so that in the middle you have like that real fast speed, or however it works, fast or slow. It just all comes together in a way where that's where it's working the best. And when you have corners, you're going to have different, there's a lot to it. It's fluid dynamics, and then it's a whole nother thing I have no idea about. I'm trying to talk like I know what I'm talking about here, but I get the concept of how it works. And absolutely, man. But I never heard of the 9-to-1. That's definitely probably a installer method, and it's probably, is it as accurate as the 12-to-16? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Because it could be 1 to 9 and I don't even know. Maybe a smaller box and it probably wouldn't be as bad, or a bigger box and it probably wouldn't be as bad. Maybe that was my case, but my box was only 5 cubes. Small for that 18, man. Really small. Jeff Wallace, thanks for tuning in, buddy. Let's see here. Jaquan, have you ever experienced Sound Cubed? Absolutely. Early Team SP Loud days. My buddy Chris had 2 of the HDC 3s. Awesome subs, man. Awesome subs. Who are they owned by again? Someone was telling me either on this show or another show. SoundCube was owned by somebody, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. That's why they're good. Andy, the full saying is, a jack of all trades is a master of none, but still better than a master of one. There we go. See, I didn't know the second part. Maybe that makes me feel a little better, you know, because all I can play is wasted information. Oh, for Bobby's kicker goat. Andy, Patreon for the win. I'm not too far behind on comments here. Let's see. Jaquan says, oh yeah, I love your Cookie Monster build. That proves that kicker can get low. A lot of people saying kicker can't get low, but your build shows it can. It's all in the enclosure. Absolutely, man. I kind of pushed it a little bit lower than I intended, but it kind of worked. But absolutely, dude. I know when I seen Jeremy Brown at Slam and I was talking to him, and I was kind of, you know, talking about how I built the box and just stuff, and he was like, yeah, when we first designed the sub, we didn't really have that in mind, that it had a low frequency resonance, you know, that it liked lows in a way. And because it was more of an SPL driven woofer, but to be musical as well. And that's why I was telling him, I was like, man, well, the FS is like 23, 26 hertz, and I tuned around that, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, not that low, but pretty low. And yeah, it's just cool. And that's the thing, man. Everyone was like, oh, blah, 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 you know, 40 hertz, wasted information. Aaron, I love you, man. But literally, even my last Cookie Monster build, it peaked at 38 hertz, still below 40. But that wasn't low enough. That was not low enough. I wanted hair tricks. I wanted low frequencies, that stuff that just doesn't even sound like bass. It just sounds like wind. Like it's different getting a demo of that than sitting in like a build that does a 30 to 50 hertz frequency range at its, you know, at its peak. Same SPL. That 45 and up, man, chokes you out, man. Get itchy back. Low frequencies, man, you can take them for days. All right. Chance, thanks for tuning in, man. Imagine if there was a modular style of box that you could adjust for air volume, port tuning for testing, then you can build the final box for the long run. My suggestion to you, if you kind of have an idea of how much airspace you want your enclosure to be, build the port bigger and then shrink it. That's what a lot of people do with their walls. You know, they'll build their sealed side and then they'll mess with their ported side, if it's a 4th order bandpass, or if it's a 6th order, their second chamber, you know, the one behind your head when you're getting a demo, they'll have that wide open. They'll play it, see how it reacts, shrink it, shrink it, shrink it. That's one thing you can do in like SPL. Literally build big, shrink. You can't build bigger. You can only go smaller. I know people literally say, you know, you can put bricks in your enclosure just to take up more airspace, and it's not going to really hurt with resonating too much. It's going to get you an idea. And then, so your box doesn't have bricks and, you know, random pieces of wood sticking in it. You got what you like, what it sounds like. Then you go and rebuild it that way, and then you know it's going to sound great when you're done with it. There's a reason why water pipes aren't square or rectangle, but again, there is more surface area with the square. I can't. Good point. Very good point. I know, triangles. Always leaving the triangles out, man. I am team triangle, bro. DD Audio, thank you. It was you. I know, I really do like SoundCube, man, and it's great equipment, I don't know about research and development, but if it's owned by DD, I would assume there is some, for sure. So, and the price, it's right in that, not cheap but not expensive. It's right in that middle ballpark. And they have entry and, you know, high level tier stuff too, man. Knocking over my whole desk here. Ashy says, under pressure, the same size square pipe will have plus 30% flow rate. Yep. Larry says, have you ever built box designs by Deckware or Bill for me? I've never built any enclosures from any other designers, honestly. I don't like to toot my own horn, but I like to build enclosures. But I know my buddy down the street, JR, he's had Drew's Baseaholics. I've seen his put together, but I didn't build it. I didn't put it together. So I wouldn't know yet. I wouldn't know. But I might definitely get some pointers from Drew for whenever I do build a wall. Just to get some, you know, I built one wall for Todd here, and it would have been really nice. I think it was more of like a demo. That's what he was kind of going for too. It's not like it wasn't allowed. It did a 150 at 34 hertz to 43, literally wide bandwidth. But his lower side sealed section was leaking from the top. He did it all himself. First time he's got more to dangles than I do, okay? Literally built his own wall in his car. I just gave him what to cut. And it did good. I wish I would have seen it and heard it with everything working properly. It probably could have done a 51, 52 on 5,000 watts, man, on a fourth order, 412 L7Q build in a car. And it was great. And I never will get to see that finished, but I think afterwards I probably would have opened up that port a little bit more. I think it was 220 square inches for the port of the wall. A little small for 412s, but I mean, I'm not a huge guru on band passes and walls and port velocity with that so much, but I'm learning. But it's not like it wasn't bad. It was okay. It definitely sounded good. If you don't try, will you ever learn anything? Facebook user from Kicker Club. I mean, we're already here in an hour. Jeez Louise. But isn't it like the ripple effect, like throw a rock on water? I mean, right. I don't really know all that much about fluid dynamics. You know what? I'm going to have to dig my nose into this deeper because this is a topic that I'm always going to bring up. I will find out for you guys. Deviant, thank you for this public service announcement. Speaking of things that are not cheap and not expensive, Andy's Patreon starts at $1. He's cheap as... That's good. That's good. You know what, man? You're going to be on the honor roll by the end of the show here tonight. You know, keep up your grades. Thank you, Deviant. I cannot even. Facebook user from Kicker Club. I'm guessing that's dig. I dig the Kicker sub clock in the back. Thank you, man. I love my Kicker clock. Thing is freaking awesome. Love it. Thank you, man. Wow, I'm catching up. Cool. I see Ashley still here. Andy for T-Lines. Thank you, Choke Change, for tuning in. Andy for T-Lines. What actually happens at the halfway three-quarter wave? I don't know about this stuff, but I know T-Lines, how they work with that and the tuning the stuff. If those are used, I've always heard about quarter wave. I think it's you take, what is it, the speed of sound at sea level, 1132 or whatever it is, divided by... what is it, the cone area or the effective piston area of the woofer. There's something with frequency, I forget, to get the tuning frequency of how long that needs to be divided by 4 with the quarter wave. I don't know enough, you know, like I do know how they kind of work and how to figure them out and to tune them, but I literally need a calculator to do so, and literally, like, you know, I'm pulling up Google on my phone, like, okay, how do I do this? If I'm going to do something like that. And it's like I know enough to do that, but to explain it, I have no idea, man. Honestly, I know T-lines are great for having really good bass in your car. I know that's vague, very vague. But they take a very large enclosure to do so, because the port labyrinth has to be very long. And there's different kind of T-lines where they can be like a trap horn where it gets smaller and bigger and bigger and bigger, or it can be all the same width along the whole length of the port. So I know that much, but to tell you A or B, I don't know, man. But thank you for your question. I like to be stumped, you know, it's not that hard. I felt like I stumped Joe tonight on the UnMasked show with, like, what class is the Warhorse? Because it's like, I don't know, because it's half an amp put together. It really is. But when I heard that B class, I'm like, where one side does one and the other side does the other, and it just doesn't work too. I'm like, you know what? That kind of sounds like the Warhorse, but it's not. Chance Lovin', I'm a kicker fan because of the amount of research and development resources versus everyone else. I feel like you get more for your application and money given the driver size. It's not about SPL, they factor in SQ2. Right. And it's like there is so much development and research put into all their products. And when you buy Kicker, it's like you know what you're gonna get. You know, you're okay. I know there's the Walmart stories, the people blowing their subs, clipping it, blah blah blah. But well, they're not being very smart, and they lack just proper knowledge of how to run a system. Even with the entry stuff, I've never had a problem with stuff. I mean, at least me. And it like you said, it sounds great. SQ in mind, man. And it's like they all say, to build a balanced driver is the key. And I could go on Alibaba and get a motor and, you know, coil and a spider landing and a square sub and put Living Loud with Andy on it. And I'm sure it'd sound okay. But is it going to sound the way that you want it to sound, like that, like the Kicker sound? No, you can't just buy stuff and put it together. Now, if you really know what you're doing, I'm sure you can make a awesome driver. But again, you got to have the equipment to test and to develop, put it together, make it happen. So that is awesome that they do that. But you know what? That's their thing, man. That's their thing, and that's always going to be their thing. Thanks for your question, and thank you for tuning in, man. DL says, I'm catching up to chat. I'm trying. I know you guys have your conversations, and, you know, I start, you know, side jagging. I start going down the rabbit hole. And, yeah, I get lost, but it's okay. RGA, severe weather and my birthday, but still dropping in to smash the like. Happy birthday, RGA. You should be going live right now. No, I'm just kidding. Happy birthday, buddy. And yeah, I think you're going live this Sunday, right? Man, I got to go live today, Thursday, Friday, twice. And then, hey, if you're going live Sunday, maybe I'll try to fit you in too, man. I know I want to hang out with you guys. All right, well, let's see. Got a question from Baba. Have you ever built a downfiring sub box for a crew cab? No, I have not. I have the only truck box kind of under seat build. You know what? I did build one. It wasn't for a truck though. It was for a van. They look very close in size. If a custom box would, you know what? When I tell people with truck boxes and stuff and custom prefab, how much more you're gonna gain, you might as well go with the prefab because you only have so much room to work with. That's the thing. Could you make it better? Sure, absolutely. I made an enclosure for 15 and a downfiring enclosure underneath a seat of a van. Okay, one of those conversion vans. Guy was handicapped, passed away, rest his soul. Paul, awesome dude. Me and Tony put it together, mostly me on this one, and literally had to put some little pegs on it on the bottom and had it down firing. And honestly, did it sound okay? Yeah. 2.5 cubes sealed on a 15. Take it as you will. On a 800 RMS amp on a P3, P215. It was okay. It's not like it was like, you know, rattling everything, but it sounded okay. I think the worst thing going against it in that van was the subwoofer was in the middle of the car. I feel like that is not helping you at all. Sounds kind of going at every which way. If you want more of an SQ build, I guess that could, or a warmer sound, sure. You gotta have some kind of loading. I know the downfiring is loading, but in my opinion, I seen where it was lacking. You can throw a thing in the back of the van, and man, did it get a lot louder. Just a lot of things. But as again, man, you can build custom, but how much are you gonna really gain out of that? Good question there, Baba. I think I actually did build another downfiring. I did build, you know what? I did do too, man. I keep forgetting. Built a couple boxes. It was for a JLW 712 AE3, the anniversary edition. I reconed it, or re-surrounded it. I didn't recone it, I re-surrounded it, and built a box for it. And that was around 2.5 cubes. It was a 12. Tuned it down to like 29, 30 hertz. He wanted lows, man, and this thing gave lows. And it was like a 2-inch port by like 12 inches, maybe 26 square inches cone area, give or take. So it was okay. But it was nice. He had it on like a 1500 RMS amp, and the thing got down, but sadly he did clip it to death in about 2 weeks, and the coil was gone. Slinky. But it sounded good before he blew it. So yeah, that was a downfiring too. It had little pegs on the bottom, and the port was, where was the port? The port was on, yeah, sub was firing down, port was to the passenger side. Yeah, we about to end this show. We went over an hour. Base Rehab 93, thanks for tuning in. Getting ready to build a 4th order with 318s in my 03 Explorer. Any advice? You can never overbuild, and you can never have enough electrical, man. Now on the enclosure with the 4th order 318s, you could maybe fit a, nah, you ain't fitting it in a C pillar. You gotta go B. Definitely gotta go B pillar on that, just because it's 318s and they're gonna want some space, and it's a 4th order. It's gonna be big. So honestly, man, any advice? On the enclosure side or electrical? Electrical, you can never have too much power. And the enclosure side, make your box stronger than you think it needs to be. Have you ever made a box for a Chevy Impala from Jaquan? A Monte Carlo for my buddy Andrew Smith. Absolutely. It was a kicker. Wait, no, that was in the Buick, the kicker. That was, what was the other one for his? That was for 2 Sundown SA12s. The Buick was the kicker, L515, and 6 cubes sealed. I am not kidding you. Sealed 6 cubes on 500 RMS. Okay? The Walmart Razor amp. This thing did like 135 at 17 hertz. I am not kidding you. It was insane. It was just windy for what it was on like 200 watts clamping. It was stupid. And it still had more. It wanted more. It definitely wanted more. 25 says downfiring boxes are my jam, but all I run is 6x9s? What? What? All right. Awesome. Well, Dub Team's leaving. Thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate you, buddy. So much. Really do. Okay. I'm going to bounce. Let me get my little thing out here. Okay, we good? Okay, awesome. We're good. We will be live Friday. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I love you all. Appreciate y'all. And as always, stay living loud. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for reminding me, 25. Time to take out the trash. See you guys next time.